Catherine and Gina, thank you very much for passion and for caring about the Philippines, the environment, everything. I'm from Rapu-Rapu. I'm Cecil Pareja. I did a talk yesterday about Rapu-Rapu. I'd like to tell you that what you show there was the fish kill 5 years ago, was it 5.5 years ago, that actually stopped the operation of Rapu-Rapu at that time. Right. And since then, Rapu-Rapu cleaned its act and it's now fully compliant, and I'd like to invite you to go over there and see how the situation is. And I'd like to tell you that we have, after that, we spent a lot of money, spent a lot of time, and in fact, Lafayette got bankrupt trying to comply with the environmental requirements. And so now the new management under the KMP, Korea, Malaysia, Philippines Resources Incorporated, the major shareholders are LG and Malaysia Smelting Corporation, largest tin mining, which have actually successfully rehabilitated Malaysia from end to end, because you know Malaysia has been tin mining from end to end, and they have successfully rehabilitated that. That is why it is important that the partner of LG in Rapu-Rapu is somebody who has had successful, let's say, experience in rehabilitation. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is that it's good that there are people like you who really put the mining companies to task and keep them on their toes, and you are our conscience so that the mining companies do actually comply with the law, because if they do, then it is possible to do responsible mining. I'd like to tell you that probably Rapu-Rapu is one of the most, I'd say, monitored mines. We have DNR, MGB, EMB there almost every day. And it is actually quite difficult for us because we have to comply with so many reports, laws, and everything. You know, we have a lot. We have the Water Pollution Act, we have the Clean Air Act, we have this, of course, 1995 Mining Act, and so on and so forth. There's so many laws. Actually, we don't need more laws. This morning, when they were doing this debate about legislating CSR, what I wanted to say is that we have so many laws in the Philippines already. If people only followed those laws, then probably would be a little bit more already there in the CSR, because part of CSR is actually paying your taxes, doing the right environment thing, and of course for the people. The FPIC's free and prior informed consent is there, but are they being followed? So the laws are there. It's just that they're not being followed. Implementation is a mixed record. Some do follow very well, some don't. But I'd also like to say that 1995 Mining Act is very strict. And I don't know, I'm sure you're familiar with this, Catherine, but rehabilitation requirements for mines in the Philippines are very stringent. 5 years before the end of the life of mine, you should already have a closure plan. In Rapu-Rapu, before we were we were allowed to resume operation, we had to have a rehabilitation plan. And right now, we already have more than 160 million in escrow for that fund, which is still being prepared. So already, we cannot, even if we walk out, for example, today, there's already a fund for the rehabilitation, but the plan is already there. So this is being taken care of now, as we say, in the new modern mining era of the Philippines. Of course, the legacy issues are there. The old mines, the unrehabilitated mines are there, and the question is, what do we do with them? So, again, I'd like to invite you and anyone of those who'd like to come to Rapu-Rapu. We are open. We have been, we'll take you free from the Legazpi port to our site. And by the way, for example, Rapu-Rapu is not the kind of island that you have in Sibuyan or in Palawan. Rapu-Rapu is so mineralized that if you see Rapu-Rapu now, Rapu-Rapu Island, it's really, there's not much growth there. Very difficult for big plants to grow. But what we have done is to reforest mangroves. 80% of the mangrove cover in Rapu-Rapu Island has been taken out. Why? Because, again, the cause is poverty, people use mangroves for making into charcoal, and this is the main source of livelihood. So we have actually now tried to do an information campaign that says mangrove is the reason why you have fish. Dwindling fish catch is the reason why there's a dwindling fish catch is because the mangroves are gone. The mangrove is the nursery of the fish. So livelihood opportunities is diminishing because the seas don't have the marine creatures, the marine animals that are needed for the marine livelihood. So we are putting the mangroves back. And we'd like to encourage tourism in Rapu-Rapu. We'd like to see that tourism and mining can actually coexist. In fact, money from mining can be used to give the accessibility and to improve the infrastructure and to bring in the people for Rapu-Rapu. I don't know about other islands, but for Rapu-Rapu, this is how it is. Thank you. Of course, I'm from Albay. I'm a local of not Rapu-Rapu, but the city next to Rapu-Rapu, the entrepot to the Rapu-Rapu Island. I've met you at Just Mabilispo Foundation with Tita Med. I am with the Just Mabilispo Foundation too. Okay, thank you.
I think that was really important to hear. Obviously, the Rapu-Rapu mine became an international issue, right, with Lafayette. Bank Track was involved with that, Australian groups were involved with that, all kinds of organizations were involved, and really raising concern about how badly the mining was affecting the rivers and the erosion in the sea and all of that. And it led to a very unusual situation where a mining company actually went under and had to abandon the project. That doesn't happen very often, and it was this huge international campaign that caused that to happen. So I fully believe you when you say that you are scrutinized, up the yin-yang, because, the Philippine government is like, this project has international profile and we cannot let anything bad happen here anymore. Unfortunately, that's not the case everywhere, right? And this is a huge issue with mining. There's a woman at Oxford University, Rosemary Thorpe, who's doing research on this right now. She's saying, if you were actually to scrutinize mining the way it should be scrutinized, all the monitoring, the verification, everything else, just as you say, even just to assure implementation of laws that are on the books, you would need much bigger environment departments, much bigger mines and geosciences departments than most governments have right now. And the costs, again, going back to costs, right? Everything comes back to costs. The cost to the taxpayers to be able to pay for the civil servants and the expertise of civil servants to be able to monitor mines the way probably your mine is now being monitored, but then all mines being monitored at that level would be very costly. So she's actually looking at the institutional costs to governments to be able to monitor mining the way it would need to be monitored to make sure that it doesn't cause damage. And certainly any government can make one mine sort of a model mine, particularly when there's been this international attention paid to it. But can they sustain that at every mine? Or can the Philippines only have one mine at a time so that all the bureaucrats can focus on that mine and then there could be another one, This is the issue.
Okay, fast. I forgot what that's going to Okay. I read a study just last week on there's a World Bank study on mining around the world, and it was really interesting to me because they said that they have seen that there are two areas of economic growth. One is capital intensive, that needs a lot of money, and the other one is labor intensive. And they have seen that when the economic strategy is labor intensive, there's very little room for corruption. And when it's capital intensive, like huge amounts of money, there's great room for corruption. And there are three things that are needed if you're going to make sure that this capital intensive thing does not jeopardize everything on site. One, you need to have the financial systems in place, you need to have the legal systems in place, and you need to have the monitoring systems in place. We don't have any of that in the Philippines. We don't. And to go headlong into a strategy without having the infrastructure and the systems and the personnel to make sure that what they're doing is not adversely affecting our country is, I feel, really crazy. Yeah, it's really crazy. And what is your name again? Cecil, you know, I called up one MGB person. I said, I won't tell you his name, but I'll say, can you name me one place in the Philippines? So just one place where the people are happy and healthy, because I think we need to explain those tables. They're happy, they're healthy, the place is beautiful, because I'd really like to see it. And this was an executive in MGB, you know, and he said, Gina, there's none. And so I said, so why are we doing this? So I take you up on that offer, because I was told that it's very hard to get into Rapu-Rapu. And that actually there was a fish kill there this year, and it was tried to be hidden under the carpet. So I'll take you up on that offer. I'd like to go there. No? If it's really as you say it is, because I've heard otherwise from many people actually. So I'm open to what you say, no? And I'll take you up. So just give me your email.
All right, thank you very much to Dr. Catherine and to Gina for their session this afternoon, and thank you all also for those who had come. I think some of you have signed away your lives anyway, yeah? In the same way some of our companies are signing away the lives of our generation. Thank you very much, and I think tonight, the next session will be at plenary. Thank you.
First, look here. Look here, please. Thank you. One more. 1, 2.
The one with our fists up.
No money in Palawan!
One more, please. One more,
From the
please.
heart! 1, 2, 3! No money in Palawan!
Yung camera, yung black. Everyone. Nice.
No to my
1, 2, 3! No money in Palawan!
Hey, wait, I have my camera too.